Hello, my podcast people, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of my favorite podcast. If you tuned in last week, then maybe you noticed the intro was different. That little part. I don't know, I had a brain fart, and I didn't realize until afterwards. And I was like, that felt different, because it was different. But either way, we're back in business. This is episode 668. We're talking about online business and whether or not it feels like it's pushing a boulder uphill both ways. Walk into school and back home uphill both ways. If you're listening, tuning in, watching this on the day that it drops, it is Monday, May 9th. Happy Pride Month, y'all. All the gay things. Happy Pride Month. Today we're talking about, again, online business and how it can feel for many people akin to walking to school and home from school uphill both ways in the snow, right? That constant slog, that relentlessness that there can be. I want to offer a validation. I want to offer some action items. But first, the life and biz updates. You know how it is. So life updates, leaving tomorrow for a trip to Vegas. We're going to go see Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. Lex and I are going with Coach Steven and his wife, Nailani, new wife, Nailani. They don't listen to this podcast, but congrats to you too. The recap of that will come later. By the time that this drops, I will have already gone, but you know, I record it in the past, I release it in the future, it's a whole thing. Summer has been summering, May, gray, June, gloom. They're not really doing their things, which is great because people aren't complaining so much. And then we have like 5 seconds of it, people will lose their shit. But the weather's been amazing, honestly. That's why we live here and pay $1 million. I'm still working out about 5 times a week. I do have a back thing going on that just like came out of the blue. And it is definitely nervy, and I will die on the hill that, I almost sound like I will die. Not because of the back pain. I will die on the hill that physical therapy is the best first career. Like, I know what's going on. I'm not like freaking out. I know how to treat it. It's shitty. I've had a history of like SI joint, L4, L5 stuff kind of goes to my leg. Like the referral pattern is very typical. Like I know what's going on. But I don't know what happened because like nothing happened. I wasn't like, oh, I dove weird. It literally just kind of like came on gradually and now it's here. But I PR'd my leg press today. I actually had a really good leg day. So I'm still lifting 5 times a week. I only did 4 last week. A little bit of a busy stuff happening right now. And also just resting, but busy because we did more volleyball and it just, rest is important. But speaking of rest, not getting it because likely planning that last minute trip to Stade. I think I've brought that up and the Thundercats are go. It's a green light. Kim is in the qualifiers. So we are trying to figure that out. And it is a big lift. It's a big trip. And it's the beginning of July. So yes, that is what's going on in the life side of things. But YOLO, right? One point in time, you know what? You folks know I love Jill. And at one point in time, I was trying to plan a trip. This was many years ago. And I was nervous about spending the money on the trip. And Jill said, you know, she's like, one of the things that Danny J taught me is that a closed fist doesn't let out any money, but it also doesn't let any in. And I was like, this is true. This is true. This is very, very, very true. And like, yes, you can be cynical and be like, but what about? But like, for me, just sitting with like just the way it hit, I was like, you're right. And that's where I'm at with this trip, right? Where it is going to be expensive. We're going to use a lot of points for it. And it's going to be a lot, just like energetically. And it's a lot. But like the world is burning down right now. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to be doing with business. And it's not even so much like YOLO. It's like, hey, this side of things is important for that side of things. So we'll keep you posted with that. Biz updates. First off, I had my first ChatGPT, fuck you moment. I was using conversation mode, which is really cool to me. It doesn't speak nearly as fast as I do. But you can ask it to like be brief with its responses. But I was using conversation mode and I was using it to record an outline for this episode, this outline right here, while I was walking. And I learned that it doesn't generate or save a transcript when you're in conversation mode. And so it didn't do it. And it was like 7.5 minutes of talking and it didn't do it. You know, live and learn. I still fucking love it. And definitely this supports and ties into my feeling and my teachings of do not record things directly to the internet because if they just go away, they just go away. But we live and learn. Right? It's fine. I redid it and here we are recording. And yes, I am still absolutely in love with it, but I'm also still planning on running some sort of training. I don't know yet. And I've been talking with it a lot about what to run and I don't know yet, but I will do something. So again, that link to join the interest list, it'll be in the show notes. No obligation. It's just if you want to stay in the loop and you're like, yeah, I think I would like to learn something from you, Maestro, about using ChatGPT. It will only be for ChatGPT. It's the only one that I use. Get on the interest list. Next thing for the business, I'm dropping new Pride swag this year. I am still working on the logo at this moment in time. It is June 2nd. I'm still working on the logo because I decided at the last minute. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Which means that you won't receive the swag till like the end of June. But like, let's have Pride all year because what the fuck is happening right now? What is going on? The worst things are going on. So let's fucking offset it with some Pride. So hopefully by the time this podcast drops, the link to purchase should be live. Fingers crossed. So if it is, then it will be in the show notes. If it's not, then just keep an eye out on social media. DM me if you're not seeing it, and I'll let you know what the deal is with that. But I'm doing it. I am doing it. I didn't do anything last year. I'm doing it this year. It's needed. It's necessary. Times a million. But circling back, speaking about not recording to the internet, the first call for press publish is tomorrow. Super excited about it. Did the outline and everything today, and I'm excited. Like, it's just cool to be able to teach this stuff to people, and they're going to have podcasts. Like, they will be launched. It's nice to have, a tangible thing. It's not like tangible, but like a thing, concrete evidence of like, oh, you made this. So I'm excited for that. And I'll report back next week. But let's hop into the main topic for today, which is online business and whether or not it is akin to walking to and from your destination uphill both ways. All right, so this episode and this topic is inspired by a question from my dope homie and the dope mafia moderator, eWeb. And she had a convo with a fellow business owner, and the topic came up, that business owner brought the topic of how online business can feel relentless. It can feel like constant pushing. And you know what? She's not wrong. Not wrong at all. If this is how you feel, I want to validate that feeling. Right? Of note, I am not validating or trying to say that it should feel like you're constantly being beaten down and like you're forever having breakdowns and like you can't breathe. Like don't stop. If that's how you feel, leave. You go get a different job. Shouldn't feel like that. But when you work for yourself and you are in the service industry as we are, right, the service industry side of online business, for the most part, if you're not selling something and you're not working, you're not making money. Which means if you need to make money, it can feel like you're constantly pushing. Very valid. I think I actually brought this very topic up a few years ago in an episode because my girl Bonnie, Carapole Bonnie, brought it up. And the word that she used was incessant, of how you're just like constantly having to like think of something, create something. And ideally, if you're doing the same offerings, it becomes a little bit easier. But like you still have to sell them. You still have to talk about them and push them and market them and message them. Like it is always something. All right. So something I do want to highlight here is the fact that money, it is money, is how making money can and will absolutely change your feelings about this. Right? If you work your ass off and you make money and you're tired, you will feel tired, but it'll feel worth it. If you work your ass off and you don't make any money, or you don't make as much as you think you should, or you don't make as much as you want to, or as much as you need, it feels like a slog. Right? It's very fucking real. And this is the part of business that is super important, but it's out of your control, right? Which is demand. The only amount that's in your control is whether or not you decide to continue within this niche because you've decided like, yeah, I'm going to keep with it until, because the demand is there. I'm going to push through until I break through. But it's also out of your hand. You really can't create demand. You can try, but it doesn't really work that way, right? So to shift the tone of this convo, because that's a little bit of like, weep womp, I want to share eWeb's question directly, which was, what are your favorite strategies, beliefs, thoughts, etc. that support you and your business to feel less like pushing shit uphill and more like satisfying effort? And the reason I love this question, two reasons. One, I love eWeb. And two, it's because it has the answer, or at least part of my answer, baked into it. Right? And that is acceptance. The question, within that question, it outlines that and states that that effort is required. Right? That last part, it says that support you and your business to feel less like pushing shit uphill and more like satisfying effort. Right? It acknowledges that effort is required. The ask is, how do you generate satisfaction instead of feeling like you're, walking uphill both ways? So my answer here, 3 parts. First part is an acceptance piece, right? Accept that online business requires continued effort and the results will not always be commensurate with the effort, right? 8 hours of work does not guarantee 8 hours of pay, especially if you're, doing back end work and the like. If you know that you personally want, that kind of 1-to-1 effort to income ratio, you're better off getting a traditional job working for someone else. Zero shade with that, zero shade. Part 2 is know yourself and how you operate. Are you more of an interval person, right? That Tabata style. You go hard, you rest. You go hard, you rest. That's Jill, right? Although Jill be working hard all the time, but that's how she exercises too. Or are you more about kind of consistent pacing? That's more about me. I like this effort here all the time. Right? There can be spurts where you're like, at the beginning of this, I gotta kind of have that activation energy, but then it's pretty steady. Right? You're probably gonna want to lean into that for your business, which will also tie into how you launch. Perhaps if you're more like me, or you're more about that consistent pacing, then you're more about smaller, lower effort launches and doing more of them, as opposed to 2 major, big, all effort launches. Right? The second part of this, knowing yourself and how you operate, is also understanding that seasonality is real, right? And nature teaches us this. Right? Think about what happens in the winter, the fall versus the spring and summer, right? If you've been in business for at least 18 months, you've experienced this firsthand, where there's more action in the spring and the fall, and there's less action in the winter and the summer. Right? So you got to take that into consideration when you're planning out your own work and your own push periods. And then you mix that in with your own preferred style. Right? The last thing here about seasonality is understanding how it affects income. I hear people talk about, I've seen it in the space, talking about 10K, the goal of 10K months, which one can take a really long time if you ever get there. But what might be more realistic, and it's something that Jill and I talk about with our folks we work with, is trying to look at income, if you're going to plan and look at it, based on quarters, especially in this online business game, because there are this kind, I don't want to say feast and famine, that sounds so bad, but there's like higher periods and lower periods for income. And so, yes, it could be 10K months, but that would be 60K across six months, or you could have like a quarter that you do 40K. I know these are big numbers, but they're also real numbers, right? But you have a quarter that you do 40K, and then the next quarter, maybe you only do 20K, but you still end up with that 60K overall. Like that can be a lot more realistic. Yes, the predictable recurring revenue is kind of like the holy grail, but memberships are tough. And I've done a million episodes about why you should not start one. Right? So the third part here about, turning this feeling and generating satisfaction instead of having it feel like you're constantly walking uphill both ways, is to continue to search for and lean into joy. I think you folks already know what I was going to say, and hopefully you're not rolling your eyes too hard, but it's the fucking truth, right? Of course, you're going to have to do some shit that you don't want to do and that you don't love, especially in the building phase of your business and the early on phases, or if you're just like building something within the business. But hopefully you still like it. But to me, the goal, if you're building a business, you're running your own business, you have your own business, is to build the business behind shit you enjoy doing. Right? Services you enjoy offering, things you enjoy teaching, problems you enjoy solving. Right? If you hate it, even if you're making money, it's eventually going to feel relentless. It's going to feel like you're, walking uphill both ways. Yes, the money will probably hold you over for a bit. And that's something to think about if you're like transitioning what you want to be doing, like trying to transition into what you want to be doing. Like maybe you're like, what I'm currently doing, I don't love, but like the money will sustain you, and you also need money to like live. So yes, the money can tide you over for a bit, but if you really don't like it, eventually you're gonna be like, no, this ain't it. Right? So no, I'm definitely not saying monetize everything that you're good at, or if you're good at it, you should monetize it. No. Or if you enjoy it, you should monetize it. No, not at all. But if you are starting your own business, or you have your own business, if you're doing your own thing, it should be behind something that you enjoy. Simple as that. Of note, that thing that you enjoy can and probably will change. You folks are experiencing this with me firsthand, right? Like I typically get about 5 years out of my interests, and then it's like, okay, I'm on to the next thing. And my next thing, it's AI. But hopefully you get at least 5 years out of the thing that you love doing. Some people get way more. Like I'm looking and thinking about my girl, Courtney Conley, Gate Happens, but she's fucking still talking about feet. She was just on Diary of a CEO. That video has 1 million downloads, 1 million views on YouTube. And she's been doing this forever. She loves feet. She fucking loves it. Amazing. So if that's you, amazing. If it's not you and you know that you kind of go through like you're like seasons of things, or just like, hey, I'm done with that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you can get at least 5 years out of something. And I say 5 years because you got to have long enough for you to break through the trust barrier with people, right? You got to be into this thing long enough that you can get results for people, get the trust from them, and then they'll go in the new direction with you, right? But those are the 3 things as it relates to turning, the slog into something that is fulfilling. But the goal today was to talk about online business as it's often viewed as walking uphill both ways, and that kind of relentless feeling of pushing. Right? And the reason that I brought it up was for three reasons, right? The reason was for 3 reasons. The reason I brought it up, 3 things. 1, I want to validate you. If you feel like this, yes, you're not alone. 2, I wanted to discuss the very, very real impact that money plays in this and how it relates to how you feel about your business. And then 3, offer up some action items for turning that slog into satisfaction, right? And those 3 things again, 1 is acceptance, 2, knowing yourself, and 3, continuing to search for and lean into the joy. If you're feeling like it is uphill both ways, I'm going to encourage you to take this summer and take this time moving forward to do some reflecting. And yes, part of that reflecting may be market analysis to determine the financial feasibility based on demand. Like, we are entering a tough time, an economic tough time. People are still buying things, but like there's uncertainty. Like, what the fuck is happening with the government? What's going on with the United States? When there's uncertainty, people hold on to their money. They hold on to things. Of course, I'm doing that. Besides this Stad trip, right? But like, people aren't as frivolous and just as, free with their money. So take that into account as well, right? When we're looking at this kind of market analysis. But I'm going to plug it again. Yes, use ChatGPT to do this reflecting and this market analysis and talking and brainstorming. I am not trying to come off as like bullish about it, but I just have found so much value. And when I say that, I'm going to back it up. I'm not trying to be like, oh, if you don't use it, you're going to be behind and like you're never going to be able to catch up. Like, it's nothing about that. I don't want to be like fatalistic or extremist or anything like that. I've just found so much value in using it. And y'all know that when I find something that I believe in, that I'm using, that's helpful for me, and I vet it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to share it with you. So that's me sharing it with you again. Once again, the link is in the show notes if you want to join the ChatGPT interest list. If you want help, I get it, because you go to the page and it's just like a blank prompt box and you're like, what the fuck? I get it. I want to help you out. But also, just go and try it out. Just go have a conversation with it. If you can have a conversation, you can use ChatGPT. I'm not trying to gatekeep or anything like that. If you can hold a conversation and have a conversation, you can use ChatGPT and it can help you, right? So if you want to learn more, go try it. If you want me to help you, get on the interest list, and that's all I got. If you got questions, comments, concerns, additions, subtractions, requests, anything, you know what to do. Shoot me a DM. Love hearing from you. Shoot me a text, 310-737-2345. It will be green, but it is me. It is my side line. As always, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. If you're watching, hopefully you can see that's Rupert in the corner. He's been here the whole time. Doesn't even care. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, endlessly appreciative. Until next time, friends, Maestro out.